This is my Unity game project for AO2. If you look in the top left hand corner, you'll see the HUD. It tells the player how to play the game, and the bottom half of it is the interactive side that updates the power, the number of targets left, the elevation, and as the player moves the cannon. As you can see now, as you just saw there, if the player clicks the spacebar, it will shoot. They will shoot the currently selected marble out of the cannon. Obviously, the power that the player has selected decides how far it gets shot. As you can see there, I increased the power and the second shot went significantly further. Here's the inside script of the cannon controller. I'll quickly show you the UI. The UI script is literally just made up of functions that get called by the cannon controller. So as you can see here, the cannon controller gets the player input and it increases or decreases the angle of elevation, and it also updates that on the UI. Here you can see how, depending on which ball the user has selected, when they click space, it will instantiate a different ball and it will make that ball be live ball, and then all other changes are done to live ball. And here at the bottom you can see I just used a simple switch to pick which ball is currently being selected. Here I'm demonstrating the basic ball type. As you can see, it just gets shot out of the cannon and no funny business, it just acts like a normal cannonball. Here is the script for it. So it counts how long it's been alive for, and if it detects it's been in the same position for 3 seconds, or if it's been on the ground for a total of 10 seconds, it is destroyed, and that time will start when it collides with the ground. An important thing to note is that this ball script is used in many of the other marbles, as a lot of them, like the anti-gravity marble, for example, don't have their own physics scripts and just use this script with their own behavior script thrown on top. Moving on from the standard ball is the large ball. This is one of my custom marbles. It is very similar to the basic marble. In fact, it uses the same script. The big difference with this is that it has a special effect, as you're seeing now, where it shoots smoke out the back, and I've edited the properties so it is larger and it has more mass. This lets it burst through a lot of objects and really helps destroy large tower sections. My second custom marble is the multi-ball. This marble, as you can see now, is fired out normally, but as soon as it hits the ground, it explodes and 4 regular marbles come bursting out of it. Now, what's cool about this, as you can see now, is one, it only explodes when it hits the ground, and also, as you saw there, it doesn't always fire 4 marbles. It actually checks the 4 spawning positions, and if there's an object there, it will not spawn the marble in that position. So it can spawn up to 4 marbles, but it can spawn no marbles if it gets shot into a really bad position. This stops objects going haywire with like physics quirks if I spawn an object inside of another object. Next up is the anti-gravity and the singularity marble. We're going to show you the anti-gravity one first. These both have a trigger collider on them, and if any object within a certain radius, I think it is set to 5 units, enters it, a force is applied to that object that either pushes them away or pulls them together. Now, because of how similar these are, they actually share the same script, and there's a control variable that basically tells the script whether to push or to pull it, because the math's a lot the same, so it's just more efficient to make them share a script. I will show you this script now after you see the anti-gravity marble in action. And so basically, the script checks if any objects have entered their collider. If no objects have entered the collider, nothing happens. If an object does, it gets added to a list, and in every frame the list is updated where a new force is added to that the rig body of the components in that list. And when the objects leave the trigger area, the force stops getting applied. And the final marble is the Wild Weasel. This marble, once it hits the ground, has a random vector 3 force applied to its velocity every second for 10 seconds, or until it falls off the map, in which case it's destroyed. This is done by using the delta time, and waiting for that to get to 1 and then resetting it back to 0 and then doing that 10 times. Every time it does reach 1, a new vec3 is created with random values, and then that vec3 is set as its velocity. The final major part of the game is the targets. There are 5 of them in total, and when the marble gets hit, it plays a sound effect, and then will then get teleported to the box next to the cannon. They will then play a special effects of some fireworks getting shot off, and the UI will be updated to show one less marble. The marble script itself does check if the marble has been knocked off the map somehow, so that still counts as collecting one. Some smaller features of the project include the camera, which has been made using Cine Machine, the background, which is using the Sky Cube map, and the repeating audio, which is an empty game object with a looping audio source.